Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew with your girl Germaine. So, you know what time it is. Today is Mixed Blend Wednesdays. Yes, this is where we mix it all up. Pretty much we bring in special guests or we have I call them our resident, guests that come in on Wednesdays, not every Wednesday, but maybe once a month. And they pretty much, mix it up with their knowledge and intellect and, giving us some wisdom, dropping some nuggets and everything. So they really inspire us. So today we have one of our resident guests who's a true part of the family. We have Dr. V coming back with us. But if you have not experienced him, let me just give you some insight before I bring him up in the conversation, okay? So today, the Mixed Blend Brew is the power of effective communication with Dr. V. And so, as you know, Dr. V, effective communication is more than just words, it's influence, clarity, and connection. As a pastor, a lecturer, and a coach, Dr. V, or Dr. Vernon J. Shazier, known as Dr. V, has spent his life teaching leaders, teams, communities how to use their voice with purpose. From the pulpit to the lockers of the NFL as a chaplain, NFL chaplain, from boardrooms to police departments, Dr. V's message is clear. When you learn to communicate effectively, you gain the power to inspire change, resolve conflict, and build unity. So, in today's conversation, we're going to unpack the skills and principles of powerful communication and how they can be applied in faith leadership, relationships, and in your everyday life. So, let me not keep him on hold. Let me bring him into the conversation. Dr. V, welcome back.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great to be back on the Morning Brew.
And it's always great to have you, as my champion coach. Yes, Dr. V is my champion coach, and it has been years, years. So I can't take all this credit. I definitely have to give credit where credit is due. So, with that being said, I've been talking about this whole power series and everything. So, he is chiming in once a month. He decided he was going to come and lend his voice to all of us once a month. That is a privilege and an honor. I just want you all to know him stopping by to do this. Okay, let's get into this. So you
Before
decided.
before we move forward, I'm trying to figure out, did I say I would come on once a month, or was I
Did.
told I had to come on once a month?
No. After that first encounter when you came on and you really blessed Morning Brew, you said, "Hey, Germaine, why don't you invite me on once a month?" I can pull the recording. You want me to send? I'll send that to you.
Okay. All right. I told you need to come on once a month. All right. Let's get
so,
to it.
so he's here now. Listen, signed, sealed, and delivered once a month. You all can be blessed, just like I am always blessed by Coach V. So, effective communication. Let's talk about it.
Okay, that is a powerful topic subject. Many people do not understand just how powerful it is and the value it can bring to your life in all spaces of your life. And so this morning, as we're continuing, and I'm jumping in on your power series, we're going to talk about the power of effective communication. And here's the truth that I want to hand to your audience. In every space of life, whether it's work, family, ministry, or friendship, we're constantly communicating. We're selling ideas, we're sharing thoughts, and responding to the thoughts of others. The question is, are you doing it effectively?
Hmm.
Just getting by with average communication. Yeah, I like what George Barnes Shaw says. He says the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Think about that.
Wow.
Just because, think about that, just because words left your mouth doesn't mean they actually landed in someone's heart or mind. And so today I want to unpack how being an above average communicator can literally elevate, shift, change your life in multiple areas and set you apart from people who settle for being poor or settle for just being average. Again, I talk about being a champion, living a champion life, reaching championship status. And one of the things that comes with being a champion, that it does create separation, distance, and space between you and the others. I've said it before, I've been saying it probably about 20 years. Most people at best deliver, produce average. And so if you want to be successful, it's not really that hard. All you have to do is make up your mind and determine, I'm not going to live an average or below average life. And you can begin to separate yourself from the masses. And once you separate yourself, you stand out. And when you stand out, doors open, promotion happens. And all you have to do is decide, I'm not selling for average. And so today's topic is about not settling for being an average or below average communicator. And so here's the first interrogative question I want to hold up. Why communication is powerful? Okay, this is a power series that we're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
let's start here with why. It's always good to start with why. Communication is powerful. If you can express your thoughts clearly, you open doors. If you can't, doors close before you even realize it. Warren Buffett once said, if you can't communicate and talk to other people and get across your ideas, you're literally giving up your potential. You're losing the potential that you have. And he also mentioned that improving your communication skills can raise your career value by 50%. That's how powerful effective communication is. And so
Wow.
if you can't express your values, how can others even recognize your values? Average communicators blend in, exceptional communicators, effective communicators stand out. And so here's a question. I think it's a good question. Do you want to blend in with the masses or do you
Ooh.
want to stand out? Mm. And here's something else important to understand. Communication is more than words.
Mm-hmm.
I said communication is more than words. I'm going to say it again. Communication is more than words. Now let's go a little deeper. Communication isn't just about the words you say. It's about how you say them. Tone, body language, clarity, and empathy all play a role. Simon Sinek says people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's
Mm.
communication. It's not just information, it's inspiration. Your ability to transfer conviction, clarity, and passion is what makes you memorable and persuasive. Have you ever sat and listened to somebody, whether it's a speech, whether it's a sermon, whether it's a keynote, whatever the setting or the space is, and you left there, you're saying, oh, that was a nice speech, that was a nice sermon, and someone asked you, well, what was it about? And you can't remember, you can't articulate it. That's because they may have spoken some good words, but they did not organize, they did not shape those words, they did not deliver them words in a way, in a format that gripped you and was memorable. I don't care how good you speak, I don't care what you say. If it's not memorable, if it does not grab hold to people's mind, heart, and soul, you did a whole lot of talking, but it was not effective. Let me put it this way. Communication is like oxygen. When it when it's flowing, You don't even notice it. But when it's cut off, everything starts to struggle. Yeah, think about that.
Oh my gosh, you are dropping so many nuggets. I can't even keep up fast enough posting them.
Well, you got to type fast. I can't wait on that. Don't slow
Oh
down.
my gosh. Say that last one again. So, because I'm typing it in right now in the thread. And if anybody out there has any questions, join the comments. Let us know what your question is because he loves taking questions. So, let us know. Get in on this conversation, effective communication.
I'll say it again. Communication is like oxygen. Effective communication is like oxygen. Communication is like oxygen. When it's flowing, you don't even notice it. But when it's cut off, everything starts to struggle. If you don't believe me, try holding your breath. After about 30 seconds, the struggling will begin. And so, above average communicators thrive everywhere. And so, please take a broad, very broad um, approach to communication because effective communication adds value. It shines light on you in all of your spaces. And so it's important to think of it in a broad sense. This is why above average communicators thrive in every arena. In business, they influence deals and shape opportunities. And leadership, they cast vision people want to follow. And relationships, they build trust and deepen connection. What all spaces are you doing life in? And are you effective as a communicator in all those spaces? Because poor communication kills deals, divides teams, and damages relationships. I think I'm gonna back up, rewind, and say that one again. Effective communications, effective communicators, they thrive in all arenas. They thrive in the business arena, they thrive in leadership arena, they thrive in relationships arena. But when you look at poor communicators, they kill deals, they divide teams, and damage relationships.
Mm.
But powerful communication builds bridges. Let me give you a phrase you can carry with you. Words have incredible power. They can make people's hearts sore, or they can make hearts sore.
Oh, SORE.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you catch
Yes.
that?
Shh. Yeah.
Hmm. It's a difference between SOAR and
Yes.
SORE.
RE.
So, as a
That's
communicator, are you making hearts sore,
A.
SOAR,
Mhm.
or SORE? And think about that. Ask that question and think about it in all spaces of your life, in your family. Are you making hearts sore or sore? In
Mm.
business, are you making hearts sore or sore? And leadership, are you SOAR or are you SORE? I hope you're starting to get the picture that effective communicators thrive in all spaces because in all spaces they touch hearts, they touch minds, they communicate their ideas, their vision, their goals with clarity. And in the midst of that, they're able to unite people instead of dividing people because they're able to get everybody on the same page.
Mm.
Communication as a leadership differentiator. Okay. I do a lot of work in leadership. There's
Mhm.
a great difference between effective communicators and what we'll call today average or below average. You say ineffective. Here's what separates leaders from average people: their ability. to communicate vision and value. If you're a leader, you're always selling something. You're selling the idea, you're selling the company or the organization vision. And so you need to have the ability to communicate vision and values in a powerful way. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you can't communicate it, it dies in your head. And there's a whole lot of people walking around with dead ideas in their head. There's a whole lot, look here, a person who is a poor communicator, they have in their head, in their mind, metaphorically, there's a cemetery filled with dead ideas,
Mm.
filled with dead vision.
Wow.
And they're dead because they're not able to communicate them in a way that brings them alive.
Whoo.
Mm.
Don't send it to the grave, right?
Mm.
Wow.
You you can have the best idea, business idea, vision, but if you can't communicate it, it dies in your head. John Maxwell said it best. He says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And influence is built on communication. That was true when he said it, and it's still true today. So again, audience, those of you who are watching now and will watch later, if you want to rise as a leader, if you want to elevate in your career, your ministry, or your relationships, if you want just to be a better communicator, you need to understand that it's more than words. It's what you say, it's how you say it, it's inspiring people. That word inspire means to breathe life into. It's being able to sell people and connect people and unite people together for one common goal, because the benefit of having a team and being able to unite and galvanize people together is that when you are able to, as a leader, bring a team together, whether it's a football team, whether it's a family team, whether it's a work team, when you're able to communicate in a powerful way that brings people together, here's the beauty of it. You're able to accomplish great things, because the whole idea of having a team is that it enables you to accomplish things that you can't accomplish alone.
Wow.
That's one of the beauties of a team. A team is able to accomplish things that no one individual could accomplish by themselves. And
Wow.
it takes effective leadership, effective communication to be able to unite, inspire, and set a team on fire for a common goal and mission. I hope I'm
Yeah. I mean, you are dropping.
people. So let me
Yeah.
give you some practical keys to becoming an above average communicator. Let's get practical, because ideas without practice don't go too far. So how do you move from average to above average? Or in the way I like to say it, how do you move from chump to champion?
I'm gonna use that one.
Offend anybody. Let's talk about that. Here's three keys I want to share with you. One, clarity over complexity. Don't try to sound smart. Try to be understood.
Mm.
Smartness communicators make complex ideas simple. You know what I'm saying? The smartest communicators make complex ideas simple. And so you don't have to be super deep, because I've sat in rooms and spaces where the communicator sounded deep, used a high vocabulary, but they failed to connect with their audience, and they failed to sell their idea and communicate it with clarity to their audience. Here's another key: connection over perfection. People don't remember the perfect speech, they remember the speech that connected with their heart. When you speak, you ought to be speaking to connect with mind and heart. Mind and heart. If you only connect with the mind, it will not be impactful like it has the potential to be. When you're able to connect with both mind and heart, you are able to connect with people in a way in which they remember you and they remember what you said and they feel you and they feel what you said. Another key is consistency over intensity. Great communicators, a great communication isn't about one big moment, it's about showing up with clarity and connection over time. I I try to pride myself on consistency. In other words, I don't want to hit a home run um, every now and then. I want to be an effective communicator over and over on a regular basis. You know, it's kind of like a batter who gets up, stands at home plate 20 times, and one out of 20 times he gets a hit. I don't think you want to be that person. You want to be the person who consistently gets hits and consistently gets on base. Metaphorically, I'm using baseball. But in order to do that, you have to develop and elevate your skill set to where you consistently communicate at a high level. You consistently deliver. You may not get an A every time, you may not hit a home run all the time, but you consistently get on base. Those three keys are important.
Now, can you give me the third key? The first key and the third key, I'm just putting it out there. I got the second one out
Okay,
there.
I'll give y'all three. So the first one was clarity over complexity. The second one was connection over perfection. And the third one was consistency over intensity.
Okay, give me the first one, clarity over connection,
Clarity over complexity.
complexity. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm putting these out as Dr. V's keys. And then the last one, hold on, let me do that one so they have all three. And thank you to Teresa Merritt Watson, who's on Facebook, helping me to also put these out there. And the third one was
Third one is consistency over intensity. You want to be consistent. I mean, so for me, I agree. I don't care whether I know it doesn't matter which space or platform that I speak on. I never want to grade, and I grade myself after every speaking engagement. I never want to grade out less than on a scale of 1 to 10. I never want to grade out lower than an 8,
how
and
do you
that's
go about
what,
grading? How do you go
huh?
about grading? How do you go about that? Because I find myself after each one of my lives, most people say they can't watch themselves, but I find myself going back to critique and I also look to get feedback from others. So how do you grade?
I have my own system. So after I speak, it doesn't matter which space. I normally listen to the speech or the sermon 7 times, and
Mm.
each time I'm listening for something different. Um, First time I'm listening for my introduction. Did I connect with the mind and the heart? Did I have the tempo and the cadence that I like? This the second time I listen to it. I'm listening to see how was my transitions as I move through it. The next time I listen to it, I'm listening to see How did I create that what we call call and response with my audience? I'm listening to my content. I'm listening to, did I articulate certain words? Did I put emphasis where I wanted to put emphasis? Did I vary my pace? I got a variety of things that I'm listening to, and each time I'm giving myself a grade. But the whole idea is I pride myself on being consistent, and that is one of the things that really separates and distinguishes great communicators from average to poor. Great communicators, they're consistent. That's one of the chief marks of a great communicator. They are consistent. If you listen to them, then on a scale of 1 to 10, they're normally going to be between an 8 and 10. Poor communicators, most of the time they're below average. Every now and then they'll hit a home run and get an 8, 9, or 10, but normally they're below average. Normally they're down in 5 and below. You know, so let's get into some practice. I don't
Yeah,
like
that
just giving ideas. I want you to. I
apply
like,
it.
I like when people leave a session, finish hearing me speak. I like for them to have something that they can go and apply 2 minutes after the speech is over. So let me give your audience some examples. So let's say you have a job interview.
Hmm.
Effective communicator comes into the job interview with clarity, confident answers, explains past experience with stories that show problem solving, teamwork, and leadership. Uh, they use good body language and connect with the Interviewer. And what's the advantage? Even if two candidates have the same resume, the one who communicates their values best usually gets the job.
Mm.
And so there's a lot when you come into an interview where we're listening and we're looking for, a lot of times we throw out scenarios or we ask you a question, give us for example, give me an example where you had a problem with your team and you had to solve it, and so again, you are the great communicator. They have the ability to, they know how to structure and tell a story where it's impactful.
Yeah.
You know, they know and they understand the power of body language. You ever had anybody interview? They sit back, lay back. It's almost like, okay, I know I got the job. Y'all come on, on the way y'all you taking me through this. When that's not the case, you're competing with somebody else. There may be 3, 4, 5 people waiting to come interview after you, and
Mm.
so um, many HR studies show that hiring decisions are often made within the first few minutes. And so communication sets the tone. And I know some of your audience can relate to this because they've been on job interview. And
Right.
some may be going with what's happening around the country. Some may be going on a job interview tomorrow.
Exactly.
Here's another example. Let's say you have a business pitch. You know, effective communicator, an entrepreneur pitching investors paints a vivid picture of the problem, the solution, and the opportunity. They make the investor feel the urgency to catch the vision. Okay. So whenever you're starting a business or trying to launch a business, one of the things you're doing is you're addressing a problem, you're addressing a need, and then you're saying, I have a solution to the problem and the need, and here's an opportunity for you to be a part of the solution. When you're able to walk into,
Well,
whether you're meeting with a group or individual and you're trying to sell your business pitch and you're able to clearly articulate the problem, the solution and say, now here's the opportunity for you to participate. And here's the monetary value and the monetary benefits. Wow, that makes a difference. Average communicator reads off slides, dumps technical details, and never connect emotionally. That's what average communicators do. But here's the advantage. Investors often say they bet on the jockey, not just the horse. And so, what's my point? A lot of people can't seal a deal because they may have a good horse, but they have not been able to sell the investors on the jockey.
Mm,
You're the jockey.
yeah.
You can have a great business idea, but if you can't sell the jockey, if they don't believe in the jockey, if you
Mm,
convince them that the jockey is the right person, the jockey knows what he or she is doing, and there are tons of people who have a good business horse, a great business horse, but they can't seal the deal and get the money and resources that they need because they can't sell the jockey. You have
wow.
to sell the jockey as well as the horse.
That happens a
Mm.
lot, that analogy. And and that's a great analogy. But if we had to think about ourselves, um, how are we positioning ourselves to be seen so someone can invest or even want to put monies behind yourself? You know, how are you
And
showing up in the world?
is when you walk in there again. When you walk into if you're selling a business pitch,
Hmm.
when you walk in there, just take this metaphor. Listen, this is a metaphor. Hey, when I'm walking here, I'm selling. I have a horse that I'm selling, and I have a jockey that I'm selling, and I need to be able to communicate in an effective way where do a great job of selling the jockey and the horse.
Both of them, not just
Yes,
one. Both of them.
yes.
Yes.
So you see the difference. Effective communicate the power of communication works in a job interview, a business pitch. Let me give you another. Workplace leaders. People always trying to elevate and go higher in their work
Hmm.
space. But effective communicator, a manager explains changes to the team with transparency, empathy, and vision. They don't just say, this is what's happening, this is what we're doing. They explain why and show how it benefits the team and the organization. But average communicator announce changes in a cold, unclear way, leaving people anxious or hesitant. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, what's the advantage? The effective communicator gains trust, reduces resistance, and inspires loyalty. Yeah, we're
Wow.
always selling something. Let me get real close to some people. Um, let's talk about the advantage of being an effective communicator in terms of relationships. Hmm.
You mean like
So,
personal relationships, business relationships, friendships,
right,
all of the above, huh?
but right here, I'm pretty much talking about, I already talked a little bit about business, but
Oh,
let
this is
me
personal
talk about
now.
some marriage and friendship and things,
Okay.
yeah, the ones that really, get us emotional. So, an effective communicator in a marriage or friendship, instead of arguing to win, they listen first, validate feelings, and then share their perspective with kindness. But an average or poor communicator responds defenseless, interrupts, or shuts down, and sometimes they never even hear you because the whole time you're talking, they're building their response and they miss whatever the cry or the communication was from the other side. Yeah.
Mm.
But here's the advantage: relationships grow deeper, conflicts resolve faster, and trust builds when communication is intentional. And there's a lot of relationships that struggle because one or both parties don't know how to communicate effectively.
Mm.
And um, another benefit of the power of being an effective communicator is public recognition. Yeah, effective communicator at a community event, someone speaks passionately, clearly, and concisely about a cause. They inspire action. An average communicator mumbles through notes, talks too long, and loses the crowd. The one who communicates well becomes the face of the movement, remembering, and everyone is embracing them because they communicated well. There are a ton of benefits of being a highly effective communicator. I can go on and on and on, but I
Well,
want to take
let me,
questions. I want to take some
yes,
questions.
I have,
Questions.
I have a question for you. So hold on, I'm gonna pull this question up. It says, "What role does listening play in becoming an effective communicator?" And you just mentioned in regards to relationships, the person sitting there not even really capturing what's being said because they're so busy trying to come back with what they need to say to be heard. So,
Uh, it's a good question. Um, li- Listening is only half of the conversation. Too often, people mistake talking for communicating, but listening is half of the conversation. A conversation is not about just talking, it's talking and listening. But the most effective communicators listen first because listening communicates value. When I listen, when you listen, I'm saying you matter, your perspective counts, and I value your voice. One of the things that happens when you are not a good listener, or as we use in the field of psychology, an active listener, is that you literally, it may not be your attention, but you literally can dehumanize a person because it's an awful feeling. It's a bitter feeling when someone kills your voice, when you feel like your voice does not matter, when they just shut you down and want to talk over you or won't give you the opportunity, or even if they did give you the opportunity to speak, you realize they wasn't paying attention. It feels like they've they've devalued your voice. You know, I give an example. As a police chaplain, sometimes I don't need to say much at all. Just listening to an officer who's been through a traumatic incident can be more healing than any words I can speak. Stephen Covey says, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
mm,
And so if you want to be a effective communicator, see and think of communication as both listening and speaking. Most people think about communication as only speaking. No, there's another part, listening. And so if you are one part thinker when it comes to communication, I encourage you to become a two part. And you'll be surprised at how much more you will learn from listening. And actively, here's where you know you listen well. When you've listened well and when you've engaged in active listening, you are able to do a good job at repeating and telling the person what they said. You're able to say, so it sounds like me, this is what you want to do. It sounds like me, this is what your thoughts are. Sounds like to me, this is how you feel. When you can recite back to the person with, some accuracy regarding what they said, you have practiced and engaged in active listening. But that doesn't
Ooh,
happen when you define conversation or communication as just speaking, and so you're not even hearing what they're saying. You may be looking at them, you may be gazing at them, but your mind is programmed to speak, and that's what you're doing, forming a response, and you've missed everything that's said.
now
Okay, did that help?
listen, listen. I'm okay. That blessed me. That helped me so much because you never think about when someone else is speaking and you're trying to get in a word, cutting someone off, how just you use the word, but it's so disrespectful. It's taking their voice away from them.
It,
And
and again, it may not be intentional. Some people can do it with intention, but it can make somebody feel unhuman, devalued.
devalue, yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That was powerful. That helped me because I got a bad habit sometime. And I mean, that right there, just those words, how you are literally taking someone's voice away from them, like they don't matter, devaluing them, and then forcing them to shut down because it's like, no, you go ahead. Because clearly what you have to say is more important. You don't even know what I want to say to you. Right?
Well, because and here's why it cuts so deep is because we don't understand often that you're not just cutting off my voice, but it can go deep to where it make a person feel like you don't even value my humanity. It
Oh my
depends on
God.
who the person is, how deep it can cut. But it can cut real deep when you it's like you without physically having one, you can put an invisible muzzle on someone. And can you imagine somebody just putting a muzzle on you and you're not able to use your voice? That's what
Wow.
happens when we don't engage in listening and understand that communication is both speaking and listening. Yeah.
Oh, that was the first question that we started out with. That was a bomb you dropped. But talk about teachable moments. And really, I mean, I do definitely want to say that once again, I am so thankful that you decided to come on once a month because because I'm always learning. I'm always gathering. So this is a blessing. And for me, it's like sit back, get your pen and paper so you could take notes also. Because this is helping me. Thank you.
And,
But I
and and what I just shared right there, if you are married or in a relationship with a significant other, that if you embrace that truth right there, it can bring some healing to your into your relationship, because I see this problem very prevalent with couples. They don't understand that communication is both listening and talking, and sometimes one muzzles the other one and dehumanizes their voice. Not intentionally, sometimes it is, but it can create a lot of tension and strain on a relationship. You're never always right and you're never always wrong. Listen and talk, listen and talk. Both of those are necessary for effective communication.
well, It's also sparked a cause to action because when I finish this live, I need to call my husband and just apologize. If I ever made him feel like that, and I'm quite sure I have. But just to apologize, he's going to be like, "What are you apologizing for?" And I'll break it down to him.
Just tell him
But
Dr.
that's
V. Tell him I had a session with Dr. V, and
absolutely.
he wrote me a prescription for apologize.
I am absolutely going to shape it just like that. And so, well, you got a few more questions in you to answer. Can you take a
Oh,
few more questions?
throw them at
Okay.
me.
Okay, I'll throw them at you. All right. It says, hold on one second. I mean, you kind of answered one of the questions with that question on listening. How do you define communication beyond just talking and speaking? So you already answered that question, and I posted that there's two parts to effective communication: talking, I mean, listening and speaking. But I want to put this one out here because here it is. Okay. Many people struggle with fear or doubt when speaking publicly. What's your advice for overcoming those barriers?
Um, Fear in public speaking is normal and natural. There was a study done some many years ago, in which people said they were more afraid of public speaking than dying. Uh, that's not me.
Wow.
So it is normal. It is natural. It's your body's way of saying this matters. I don't want to mess it up. The key is shifting the focus off yourself and onto your message and your audience. And so with me, that's one of my approaches. I'm thinking about what is the audience need and what is it that I want to give them. You know, I found out that though anxiety and nervousness is natural, it it calms down and settles to a great degree when your content is tight and your preparation is right. Listen, I've been speaking over 30 years. Every time I stand to speak, no matter what platform, there's some nervousness in me. But it normally goes away in about 3 to 4 minutes because my content is tight and my preparation is right.
Oh
Now,
my.
if you have to speak and you're not prepared and you don't have good content and you don't know and your presentation is not right, you have a reason to be nervous. You have a reason to be scared and frightened. But any good leader, speaker would tell you, he or she would tell you, even though I've been doing this 20, 30, 40 years, I still have butterfly, I still have nervousness.
Yes. It's
But
natural.
but it doesn't imprison me because I know I've got good content and I know I'm ready. And that there gives you the boost and the bump you need to get over the little nervousness. Let me give you an example. When I first started speaking out where I worried, what if I mess up? But then I reframed it. What if someone misses out because I didn't deliver this message?
Mm.
That mindset gave me courage. What if so when every Sunday when I stand in the pulpit to preach, every time I stand on a platform in any setting to speak to someone, my mindset is, my thinking is, doing my preparation, and when the moment to speak comes, is I have to deliver a message that connects with the minds and the hearts, that inspires people, that moves people, that hopes people, that heals people. In other words, my mindset is I've got to speak like this moment matters because it does matter to somebody in that audience.
You take the focus off of oneself.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my mindset that this speech that I'm getting ready to deliver, this sermon that I got to deliver, I have to prepare and deliver like it matters because for somebody, I don't know who the somebody is in that audience, it does matter. I have had 3 occasions in my life where individuals have come up to me after a motivational speech and once after a sermon, and they literally waited. You know how you be always shaking hands with, and they literally
Mm-hmm.
waited, and they came up to me, and before within 30 seconds of their conversation, tears began to stream down their eyes, and they said, I woke up this morning, and my intentions was commit suicide tonight. That there makes me every time I speak, whether it's on a platform or a pulpit, my mindset, I have to inspire. I got the hope. I need to be prepared to deliver a powerful message that speaks to somebody because this speech, this sermon matters for somebody in my audience.
Wow. Well,
When you prepare, like when you think with that mindset, you're not just going to just throw anything together. You give thought about your audience. You give thought about the problem. You give thought about the topic. You wrestle with it and you prepare yourself. Again, I've been doing this over 30 years. You can find somebody who's been preaching, speaking for 50 years. They'll tell you the butterflies never go away.
that's right.
But when you are prepared, I'm telling you, hey, when you prepare, when you're ready, when everything is tight and right,
Yeah.
it
That's
flows.
powerful. That was when I
Another
s-
thing is too, to answer your question too is, another thing that'll make you get more and more comfortable, find small groups to speak to. Practice
practice.
on the people in your house,
That's
practice on friends.
right. That's
You
right.
know, hey, y'all, come over here. I'm gonna buy a pizza. I'm gonna buy some pizza. I got a speaking engagement. I'm gonna buy some pizza. I'm gonna feed y'all some pizza. Then I need to do this, practice this speech on y'all and get your feedback.
Yeah, definitely. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
The more you do it, you get comfortable and comfortable and comfortable, but the butterflies never go away, the nervousness never go away. But when you have great content and you know how to deliver it, it moves you past the nervousness. Being nervous, being a little scared, that's natural, it's normal. But when you have confidence, it's it pushes the fear down. It puts the fear in handcuffs. You want to handcuff your fear, have good content, know how to present it in a powerful, memorable way, and you'll handcuff your fear.
I that's one of my coffee brews, one of my morning brews. We talked about being able to step out even if you don't have confidence just yet, because you will build confidence, like you said, even smaller groups, just being able to practice. The more you do it, the more you'll start gaining confidence, and you're right, fear will subside. You won't even be thinking about fear anymore.
Yeah, like I
But
said, I think all of us, um, initially when you walk into that on that platform or into a pulpit, there is the nervousness and the butterfly. I'm always nervous. I'm never scared.
yeah, that's the
I'm
difference.
always nervous. I'm never afraid because I've prepared myself.
Mhm.
I pride myself on having great content and delivering it in a great impactful way. And so I'm never afraid. Now there was some moments 30 years ago when I was afraid.
Is it because you was just really starting
Yeah.
out?
But yes, again, it's something about when you stand before people. I don't care if it's 5 people, you
Definitely.
know, but great content and being able to deliver it. So, um, in case your audience listen to somebody else listen, I am a speech coach.
Yes, you
And,
are.
you, I think I can add value to your life. So you're looking for a speech coach. The
Let me put
gospel
your information up here so people know
not
how
to
to
be
connect with you.
yes.
Hold on. Let me.
What else you have for me? What else you have for me?
I do. I do have another question for you. Now, this is something because you operate in so many different arenas. So, Dr. V, you've spoken to audiences ranging from churches to NFL teams. What have you learned about the core principles of effective communication being in so many different arenas, even government, education? You literally crossed all of them. What are some core principles?
I think I just shared it on the tail end of the last question.
Hmm.
Nothing trumps content. Say it again. Nothing trumps content. Even a person who may not be a 10 when it comes to delivery, they can survive and get by if they have something to say.
Mm.
On the other hand, you can make a whole lot of noise, but if you're not saying anything,
Mm.
what have you given the people who, for a variety of reasons, decided to give you 15, 30 minutes or an hour of the time out of their life? Was it worth it for them? Nothing trumps content. You can continually to work, get coaching, practice, and improve upon your delivery. But I don't care how charismatic you are, how much noise you make. You need to be saying something that addresses the needs of the people, that speaks to the topic, that speaks to the problem that they're facing. When you stand before people, you're standing for people to address a particular need, a niche, to sell them something. They came there for a reason. They have literally, again, decided, I'm going to invest this amount of time of my life. I'm going to give it to you. Please give me something of value back. Please make it worth my while. Please let me walk out of here saying that was worth me giving up an hour of my life, 30 minutes of my life.
Ooh,
And so for me, it begins with content. And then you just keep working on getting better and better with your delivery. One of the things that helps with getting better and better with your delivery is finding people who are effective communicators. I tell people with everything, listen to champions. You need to listen to champions and not chumps. Whatever field you're working in, whatever discipline, whatever you want to become good at, find some individuals who are doing a champion job at it. Find somebody who's a champion in that arena discipline and listen to them over and over and over. Let them become your mentor. I have mentors that I've never met. I have mentors I've met, but I have mentors I've never met. But they were great at what they did. And so I bought everything that they published. I read them. They mentored me. I've never met Howard Thurman, but he's one of my mentors. I never
I
met
love that.
Stephen Colbert, but he's one of my mentors because they are champions at what they do. And I've put my hands on everything they've published.
I
Find don't get mentorship from chumps. You need from champions. Content is king, but just like I said with the communication, it's two parts. You have listening and speaking. With with speaking to, you have content and you have delivery. If you are great with, stage manager and all of that, that's great. It's needed. But again, it's my personal conviction. I don't care if you turned 30 cartwheels while you was on the platform, did 100 jumping jacks and moonwalked. If you didn't say anything, if you didn't give them anything, if you didn't pour anything of value in their bowl, then what they did was they came and saw a circus.
wow. You make us look at it a whole different way.
There are a lot of speakers who is just a circus show.
Wow. Wow, you really gave us some nuggets to be able to start looking at things a whole different way. And you know what? One of the things I kept hearing loudly was even someone that's investing and following someone or putting their monies behind someone, um, you have to first look at yourself and what is it that you're valuing that you would invest or just take anything. So, one thing you,
And again, a shortcut, one way to accelerate it is get some coaching.
yes,
Um, join some speaker groups or speaker clubs. Get somebody like myself. Again,
yes,
uh,
I want to put your information up.
somebody who's really a champion at what they do, and they're a good teacher. They can literally save you time, pain, and money. That's one of the benefits of having a good mentor. They save you time, pain, and money. I do a session with somebody in one day, and they can go from a 5 to an 8. You know, if that's what you desire, that's something you um, want to do, is become a great communicator. And I hope um, you understand and see the benefit that it brings you in all of your spaces that you do life.
Yes. Ooh, this is good. This is good. I am so glad. Once a month, you can find Dr. V right here on Morning Brew with Germaine. Once a month. So there were some other questions that came in, but I know you're a busy person. You even altered your schedule today for me. Wow, I feel so special. I really do. Thank you. One thing I do want to say that most times when people think about mentorship, you just dropped a huge golden nugget that you don't have to physically engage with individuals for them to become mentors. You stated just by investing in those champions that are doing it, they that have changed lives, you invest in what they're right, their publications, their publishing, their books, their um systems that they may have put together. And the one thing I always say is the power in one story. It is so important. I hope everyone out there is listening. I'm not saying this as a publisher just to be saying this. This is coming right from Dr. V's mouth also. As you invest in those champions to help yourself be equipped and prepared for this journey, this thing called life, he's finding it in books. He's finding it in audiobooks. He's finding it in their systems that they're putting together. That's why it's so important to know the power of your own story.
I have mentors that are alive. I have mentors who are dead. I have mentors I've met. I have mentors I've never met. I have mentors that died 100 years ago, 50 years ago. But
Yes.
they, to me, they are in that champion status, And so I read things that they've published and material that I can find on them. And they mentor, some of them are mentoring me from the grave.
But see, that's the power in publishing your stories, publishing their works, their teachings, because a book will outlast us. So,
So,
the power in your story, I tell you, we've learned some things that we need to share. And I caught that also. I did catch that when you said you're not just showing up, being unprepared, or showing up. And if you don't show up, who's missing out on what they need to get from you? Oh,
okay.
I'm gonna have to play this one back definitely multiple times. So, on that note, how are you feeling? Because you have really educated us today. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic.
So now I know we're getting a little late in the hour, but I have one question because we live in such a social media age today. Can I just ask this last question that came across? It says, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen so people can see it as well. Okay, here it is. In today's world of social media, how can we ensure our digital communication is just as effective and authentic as face-to-face conversations?
Well, here's why it's important and powerful when you effectively communicate, in your digital platforms. Uh, Online communication has to be intentional because without tone and body language, words can easily be misunderstood. The
Hmm.
key is clarity, kindness, and consistency. Again, when you're communicating, shooting out these little tweets and whatever you're typing in, things can easily be misinterpreted because, again, they don't understand your tone. They don't know what your body language is. And so it's so easily to misunderstood words. So think about while you're typing or even before you type it, is this communication clear? Is it kind? Is it consistent? Example, before posting, ask, would I say this to someone's face? I'm gonna
Mm,
say it again. Before you type and before you press send, ask yourself, would I say this to somebody's face?
mm.
If not, don't post it. That is a simple way to help you and keep you from pressing something. Because here's what we know. Um, on many of these digital platforms, once you hit send, it's like toothpaste. Once it leaves,
You can't put
you
it back
can't
in.
put it back in. Can't put it back in. So use your digital platform not just to broadcast, but to engage. Um, encourage and listen, just like you would in real life. But ask yourself that question: Would I
Definitely.
say this? Would I say this to this person? Or if I was in a group or room with these people, would I say this to their face? I believe if more people ask themselves that question before they press that send button, it would save us a whole lot of problems.
Ooh, ditto that.
Then they won't have to come back and try to undo it and clean it up. A lot of people, because a lot of times we respond off emotions, and sometimes we know that often, even we have done it. We've pressed sin and we've said things that we wouldn't say to that person's face or to that group of people's face. For
Definitely.
me, that's something that helps, is a good guide and governor for me. Would I say this to the person's face? And so it's rarely that I post anything that I wouldn't say to somebody's face.
That's a good point. Very good point to make. So ask yourself the question before you hit send the next time, would you say this to someone in their face? Think about it.
And we
All
know
right.
many
So
people wouldn't because they cowardly hide behind
exactly. The
the keyboard.
keyboard.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we are coming to our final uh, we're coming to our final sip at this time. So, with the final sip, I do have a last question for you. If you could leave our audience with one final sip about the power of communication, what would it be?
Um, the voice is a powerful gift. Seek to use it with intentionality in a way that inspires people. That word inspire is a powerful word. It means to breathe life into a person. Seek to breathe life into people's hopes, dreams, ambition, their life. If we make that our goal, I think we will make our world a better place. Many people expire instead of inspire. And right now, in the climate we're in now, there's a whole lot of people who are expiring. They're taking life out of people with their words. I think this is a great opportunity and moment for those of us who want to build a healthy, vibrant, loving community to find ways to inspire. It can just be simply giving one person a compliment every day. Your voice has power. Use it in a way that inspires people.
Wow.
That's my last sip.
Wow. So, in these closing thoughts, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for being a part of the Morning Brew with Germaine's family and being able to lend your voice to those that are out there that decide to stop by and have a coffee break with me. It's a blessing. And when you said, when you said, hey, invite me on once a month, absolutely.
I'm gonna have to go
Now,
back and look at the recording.
no, listen, I'm gonna send you the recording, but
Uh,
but when he now, you know what? This is all good because in 2026, you can get him full time on his platform. Champion Conversation, right? Champion Conversation
with Dr. V.
with Dr.
It's
V.
coming.
So
It's coming in
it's
2026.
coming. It's coming. So, you know what? Continue to just stop by for coffee with us, and you can always get him at least once a month on Morning Brew with Germaine. And so, with that, when communication is effective, it doesn't just transfer information, it transforms people. And with that, Dr. V, I'm going to let everyone know a way they can support Morning Brew, and we're going to leave on that note. So, this is how, if you are someone like others that want to support Morning Brew and the inspirational empowerment messages that come forth, all our guests that take the time to pour into purpose with us. If you are someone that want to know, hey, as little as $1 a day, I invite you to buy me a cup of coffee. Maybe not just me, you can buy Dr. V a cup of coffee, okay? But let me show you how you can do that. Stand by. Welcome to Morning Brew with your girl Germaine on Buy Me a Coffee. Every cup you buy helps fuel inspiration, conversations, and creative content for our growing community. So grab a seat, stop by for a coffee break, sip with us, and thank you so much for pouring into purpose with me. Morning Brew, I'll see you in the next coffee break.